How's it going? Today's 1st of March, Friday, and we are taking a look at the market, what kind of opportunities are available there. In the city, quickly, right? I was taking a look at what would be the best process if we were be interested in offering similar contracts, right? For argument's sake, right? If I would be, my company would contract intuitive machines, right? And I would offer a contract of taking some payload up to the moon, right? If I would be an agent who would offer his services to UK's government, how that process would look like. Even that for fraction of the cost, perhaps I can pocket the difference. I don't know what is now that UK is paying and what they're receiving for this kind of services, right? For fun. For fun, if it's a European and they offering, as of now, we're receiving 7 billion of funding. Can we structure this contract for 2 billion? Okay, and we can pay 200 million into the machines, and we can pocket 1.8 billion. Said I can buy a couple of Lamborghinis, so we can have a lot of fun, right? Even that would work. Let's take a look at how to receive this kind of contract coming into this, right? Most likely, I would need to, or any business would need to have certification. That's myself coming into this. I don't know all the details, right? I'll be looking, I don't know, trying to understand the ideal. I would like to schedule a conference call, and during this conference call, we might be able to discuss that. But either way, I'll be taking a look at doing business with defense. I think that would be classified as defense industry since we might be taking a look at the rockets, right? The rockets, I think they people who can work with those just in case those rockets won't land on buildings or something. There might be something with defense. I don't know all the details, right? Let's try to understand it. I have just now read that template. That template was something about RT. That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The template was very bad, by the way. But either way, that would be a private business, right? And that private business potentially can receive close to 200 million for every flight, right? Close to 200, right? If you would ask me about some of the educational programs and other ways of engaging with some of those organizations, that's some of those sums, and a lot of people need to rationalize those sums as well as how to make some of those industries cost effective. So everyone would ask this kind of question, right? I'm afraid to ask it, right? What's in it from such investments, right? Well, either way, let's progress into doing business with defense, right? First, let's begin by understanding, right? So, who we are, right? So that would be doing business with defense, right? Most likely, there's so much information I would need to cover, if anything, while I'm looking to accomplish, right? Before reading any of that, I think that any businessman, before they're doing anything with defense, they perhaps need to undergo some certification. Perhaps the business would need to understand some standards. Perhaps they need to log in on the system. All this information, I don't know. As of now, I don't know. I'll need to understand it, right? Perhaps all the process can be very complex, and if anything, we're really trying to understand if it's actually defense or we're doing other things other than defense, right? Well, let's progress, right? Who are we? We are one of the biggest public procurement organizations in Europe. Okay, okay. Oh, no, I don't know. It's Europe, right? I would be taking a look at in alliance, right? So since we take a look at defense, so perhaps some of the alliances, and perhaps that is something. But Europe, I don't know. They as of now, I think taxpayers and voters voted to leave EU, right? If you would ask me, it's not really Europe, but I guess it's kind of, and it's not. And the single largest customer for a case industry. Okay, so there might be some opportunities there. Or in the next decade, we are committed to spending over 190 billion on equipment and support. Our customers include both the armed forces and national security agencies, and we have diverse range of requirements, including military fighting vehicles, right? So we were taking a look at some of those contracts that recently was signed with collaboration opportunities with Japan and perhaps Italy. I think it was another government, right? Education services is something that we are taking a look at within perhaps space agency, and they offering some financial incentives, and perhaps there might be some opportunities when it comes to defense. That might be very similar, I guess. I don't know. Nuclear submarines. I think there might be some contracts that were signed with Australia, right? But that would be three different governments. That would be within UK. That would be US, Australia, and the UK. I think that's what they're referring to. And facilities management, right. If anything, they might have some sports facilities, perhaps some stadiums, or that would be great if they would have those when it comes to sports, right? But either way, aim to ensure that the customers are provided with the best capabilities to enable them to protect UK security and advance national interest. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's forget. Both now and in the long term. We encourage innovation and wider small and medium-sized enterprises, right? Participation throughout supply chains. We continue to pursue policies and practices that make it easier for new and or smaller businesses to identify, compete for, and or win opportunities with the Ministry of Defense, right? If anything, before coming into this, I have read some of the different contractors, right? And sometimes they do not pay for any products or services for 60 days. So it depends. It depends. So before entering in any agreement, so if anything, some word of caution, right? You need to read all the agreements. Let's say the contract size is 1 million, and you're not getting paid for 60 days, 90 days. But either way, this helps us to deliver our vision of a vibrant, sustainable, and competitive UK industrial base while obtaining the best possible value for money for our taxpayers. Right. Perhaps I was taking a look at the so now I think UK spends roughly about 3% of its GDP, and I think they're not looking to increase that. Perhaps they might be considering increasing more than that, but I don't know. Perhaps UK can sell some of the hardware and by that raise some capital. And once capital has been raised, perhaps they can reinvest back into hardware, right? That would be a sound decision if you would ask me. But either way, let's forget. How we procure. As a public sector organization, we procure in a different way to industry using competition where appropriate. We set objective standards, selection criteria. We are fair and transparent, and we will be held accountable for procurement decisions in a way the private sector is not. We do not operate preferred suppliers lists. Okay. I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to understand it, right? Principles include non-discrimination, equal treatment, transparency, mutual recognition. So it's something that I think that I don't know. By the way, I think that before doing anything, you might need to receive some license or something like that before I'm coming into this, right? Quickly, right? They are pointing to different organizations and depending on what products and services you're looking to offer, right? So if if I'm manufacturing canned drinks, right? If that's something that I'm manufacturing, would I be able to offer those? And how will I think people would need to drink and eat. I don't know how much staff they're operating with and on the front lines and or perhaps administration staff. I think administration might be 12.5 thousand. If you would ask me, even that administration staff needs to drink something, some water or something. We can perhaps suggest some products and services, but I'm looking to understand what's the process, right? Not necessarily needs to be limited to those products and services. Perhaps some of those technologies can be offered to different departments as well. If I have to put things into perspective, some of the examples, right? If I need to go more into detail, some of those contracts that would be allocated different parts, not in UK, right? So some of those contracts was about lifting a tent. A massive tent, by the way, a massive one. There would be perhaps the requirement of 3 trucks to pick up that tent properly without breaking anything. It could be work of perhaps 8 people packing those tents up to trucks and moving from point A to point B and putting tent back together. And it was very detailed how tent would need to be laid out and surface levels and everything would be needed. A lot of details, right? So there were some contracts, but not in the UK. So that's really just an example of some of the contracts for people who are interested in some of those opportunities, since there might be some people within other different parts of UK, like Wales, right? So some people who might have a business who might be struggling right now when it comes to perhaps the person might have a van and he could potentially complete this or similar projects within different contracts, even working for defense perhaps. I don't know. That's just an example, right? So yeah, there are some people who are struggling and they're looking for new opportunities. That would be just an example of logistical problem, I guess. Packing everything and doing that with very high precision and high level of professionalism, right? When it comes to completing some of those projects. But either way, let's progress. Yourself, if you're interested in learning more, I have published a book that will be a livestock enterprise, and I'm looking to share as much information as I can when it comes to achieving milestones. I will be taking a look at financial metrics and potentially structuring this book around areas that I personally believe would be very important when it comes to running your operations and having set targets, how to begin. Within this book, I would be taking a look at zero, where everyone would start when it comes to business operations, and from there progress to first $10,000 US pounds, and how you can self achieve that while operating business in a sustainable way. And that might be of interest to some. If it's something yourself you're interested, I'm looking to share this book with as many people as I can. You can find it, QR code in the corner, company's website below. If you would ask me, most likely competition is not something of interest, right? So I'll touch on that, but as of now, I haven't done anything, right? So I can most likely discuss it as of now, since I haven't done it. But in the future, most likely, I won't be discussing any or opportunities like that. What I'm saying is, opportunities are there for people who might be interested and looking for new opportunities there. So that would be for businesses and how they can potentially engage with Ministry of Defense, as well as there might be a portal, but I think you need to be approved, but I don't know that, as well as contract finder. So they might be published on the platform. Most likely, it depends. It depends. Sometimes I have read a little bit on that, and not necessarily depending. Depending, it might be very geographical based ways how we're gonna be publishing some of those contracts based on what platforms and everything. Not central, so to say, right? But either way, that's close on that. Thanks for watching. See you next one.